I'm your friend, Dr. Charles Apoking. We started a discussion on social change through minority influence. People will always think that change will just come spontaneously or will come through the majority. In societies like ours and in Africa, even globally, you will find out that if the majority is benefiting from a system, they don't condemn it. They don't want it to change. They want it to continue. But how does the minority eventually change the opinion of the majority? Now, number one is to draw attention. I'm still working on the principles of Sergei Moscovici. Draw attention. I give the example of Colin Kaepernick, who bent a knee during the national anthem in America before his games. And that attracted attention, attracted the wrath of somebody like Donald Trump. But eventually, it it gathered momentum. And after the death of George Floyd, a lot of things happened. Um, Jesse Owens went for the Olympics during Hitler's time. Hitler had bidded for the Olympics in Berlin, thinking that his theory that the Aryan race was superior to other races would hold sway by would hold sway by white people winning medals, predominantly gold medals in the Olympics. But Jesse Owens from the United States, a black man, won 4 gold medals. Hitler ignored him, or he ignored Hitler. Hitler left the stadium. Jesse Owens said that Hitler left the stadium. Now, but he said, I wasn't running against Hitler. I was running against the world. He needed to make a mark that the black man was not inferior in ability. And that incidence of winning 4 gold medals, even though the president of America did not recognize him, did not acknowledge him, despite winning 4 gold medals. After many years, Barack Obama eventually called them or their relatives to the White House to acknowledge their contribution. But Jesse Owens made a mark, drew attention. The next thing is, I want to say this. There is the Nigerian lady that won a Grammy, and she brought out the Nigerian flag while she was singing. I'm so proud of her in this dispensation when every person derives relevance from rubbishing our country. Our flag shall be a symbol. She brought out the flag. So you draw attention. The next thing is cognitive conflict and flexibility. The majority holds an opinion, and then the minority will do something that will lead to conflict in their mind. I can't remember the word, whether cognitive resonance, I can't remember it. But there is conflict between what you used to think about and the new information, the new reality you are facing. There was the case of a picture that was taken by Nick Oates Nick is Nick, Ut is Ut. During the Vietnam War, on June 8, 1972, I was 13 years old then, when one young girl was photographed. Her name is Kim T. I can't pronounce the middle name, Kim. She was photographed after America dropped bombs in her city, I think Saigon, and her dress got burnt, her skin peeled off, she was naked, and this photographer, Nick Ut, I was just 4 years older than that girl then. I was 13, she was 9 years. In 1972, June 8, she was photographed naked. She's called the famous Napalm Girl. That picture shook the conscience of America. Shook the conscience of America. Even though people like Jimmy Cliff sang Vietnam, Vietnam. Yesterday I got a letter from my friend fighting in Vietnam. Even though those songs were there. But this picture by Nick Ut of Kim, 9 years old, burnt by American bombs, sent shock waves through America. There might be something you are doing that you will not know how far it will go towards causing a change in your country, causing a change in your economy, causing a change globally. The incidents in Ughelli that was captured on video between SARS operatives and some boys in Ughelli prompted the End SARS product. I live in Ughelli. The incidents happened in the expressway just in front of me here. And I came out to see the young ones protesting. I made some speeches then. That singular incident led to protests around Nigeria and led to the disbandment of the special anti-robbery squads that were causing a lot of problems. So just a singular video. Even though the boys were said to have died, they didn't die, but that singular video. So anything you are posting, anything you are doing in this dispensation can cause a great effect. I suggest you post things that can cause positive change in our country. That's why I've devoted my time towards these lectures. Now, the next thing is that picture of the vulture and the struggling girl, March 26, 1993. The girl later was found to be a boy. His name was Kong Yong. That was in Sudan during the famine. The photographer, what's his name again? Kelvin, took that picture and left the child there and boarded a helicopter to South Africa. He won the Pulitzer Prize, but later deleted himself because of the guilt of leaving that child. But that picture, even though the child later died of malaria or whatever, that picture of that, they called her the girl, the struggling girl, the vulture and the struggling girl. On 26 March 1993, brought so much attention to the conflict in Sudan. One singular act can change the minds of a majority. So don't give up. I went to look at the lyrics of the song that the black people in America were singing when they were trying to cross the bridge, and every protest that they had, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. When I heard the Morehouse College Choir sing it, I wept. We shall overcome someday. For me, this country and my continent, Africa, will overcome someday, either in my lifetime or afterwards. But keep doing something right. You never can know what it will cost. I remember the South Africans used to sing, "Freedom is coming tomorrow. Freedom is coming tomorrow." Freedom has finally come. And when Elon Musk and Donald Trump thought they could mess up with South Africa, South Africa told them, bust you and your aid. We won't give you minerals. We won't give you precious stones. Bust you. We will get there. You will get there. Just keep doing one good thing. It will prick the conscience of the majority, and they will change their minds. One of the things that Moscovici said was consistency. When raindrops keep falling on concrete, a time comes it digs a hole as soft as raindrops. William Wilberforce was consistently advocating for the end of slave trade and slavery. Took him 2 decades, 20 years, for the bill to be passed. It was passed 3 days before he died. Imagine, for 20 years, our legislators will cross carpet, they will talk of buying new cars for them and all those kind of rubbish things. Consistently for 2 years. At one time, the prime minister was his schoolmate or friend. Consistently. That time, even the Church of England had slaves. There is a video I was watching recently, that how do good people become bad people, the Lucifer effect. I will do a video on that with time. So you must consistently insist on the right thing in your community, the right thing being done. You see, when we started school, running our school, they said if we don't allow exam malpractice, that we won't do well. We insisted on doing the right thing. When people are struggling for admission, we send away students. Parents struggle to bring their children to our school. Just go and ask them. Ask the schools in Ugili. They will tell you Dr. Apoki's school is only that they are very wicked. These are wicked. I'm just strict. I'm just principled. What I do to myself and my children, I will do to your children so that they can become as good as I am and as good as my children are. And so parents struggle to bring their children. A lot of those who were cheating in exams, when we compete with them, we beat them. You can say any kind of nonsense about me, but I insist on what is right. Because if I light my candle and I light it on my students, I light it round, you light another person's own, darkness will be dispelled. Then the next thing is the augmentation principle. People will be watching you as you do things, as you insist on change taking place. They watch the personal sacrifices that you make. When they watch the personal sacrifices that you make, they come to respect you. They come to value what you are talking about. And then they have a guilt conscience or a guilty conscience, and they start turning in your direction. Personal sacrifice of Nelson Mandela, of his freedom. He decided to stay in Robben Island, left his children and his wife. He was there. I don't know whether it was 26 years again. Instead of Nelson Mandela being the prisoner, those who put him in prison became the prisoners. During COVID, Black Lives Matter people came out. They took the risk of coming out, of being arrested. They marched. When people saw their sacrifice, freedom is expensive. Liberty is expensive. It comes from the sacrifices of the few who demand for a change in society. Recently, Dele Farotimi was whisked from Lagos to Ado-Ekiti, handcuffed. And I told them that the handcuff of Dele Farotimi is the wedding ring between Dele Farotimi and good people of Nigeria. Dele Farotimi was eventually, is he discharged now? Baba, listen to one of the counsels I gave. I don't know if you listened to me personally, but I gave a counsel that Yoruba elders should intervene and withdraw the case. Because Dele Farotimi has offered himself as a living sacrifice. He was ready to bear any pain. And he said that no person should appeal for him. And the most difficult person to fight is the person that you are hitting and he's not crying. And he's not hitting you back. Dele Farotimi, with his subtle way of talking, the way he even walks, the way he walks, you that put him there, you will feel sorry for him. Dele Farotimi, the sacrifices he made the world to celebrate him and see his point and turned their thinking in his direction. Finally, it is the snowball effect. On December 18, 2010, Mohamed Bouazizi is Buazizi, self-immolated himself. I don't want to use the other word. Self-immolated himself in protest against corruption and oppression in a town called Sidi Bouzid, Bouzid, in Tunisia. A lady went there and threw away his vegetables he was selling. And this young man got angry. And protest started in Tunisia. The president of Tunisia fled to Saudi Arabia. From there, it went to Libya. The one of Libya was on. I could see Gaddafi and Gaddafi's sons posing. And in Benghazi, there was one chemical engineer. The military barrack in Benghazi was fortified. And this engineer carried gas cylinders in his vehicle and rammed it against the gate of the military barracks. And the thing exploded. And people rushed into the barracks. From Libya, the protests went to Egypt. And what's the name of this president now? Certainly forgotten him. After Anwar Sadat, he came. See, Hussein. I've forgotten it. Look at me. He was removed from office. From there, it went to Syria. Syria stayed and stayed and stayed. After 10 years, Bashar al-Assad eventually fled. The Arab Spring went to Yemen, went to Bahrain. The one in Bahrain was suppressed. The one in Yemen eventually threw the former leader away. And today, we're still battling the effect of one singular act of throwing away the vegetable of one man in a Tunisian city. I didn't have time to check the revolution in Romania. I didn't have time. However, Martin Luther King Jr. said, faith is taking the first step even when you can't see the end of the staircase. Martin Luther King Jr. We shall overcome corruption in this country. We shall overcome this decay. We shall overcome this impunity. We shall be a great nation again. We shall overcome this elite capture. We shall overcome this oppression. We shall overcome this internal colonization. We shall overcome this shame that a minority are bringing to Africa. We'll get it right in Nigeria. We'll get it right in Africa. We shall overcome. Freedom is coming tomorrow. Just do the right thing. No matter how small. Capture the right thing. Post the right post. Give the right lecture. Do the right thing in your business place. And we'll light our little candles. Darkness, even though in the majority, shall be dispelled. This is my story. This is my song. I have and my hope. I have a webinar coming up on the 14th and on the 15th of March. It's tagged Wisdom to Legitimately Make More Money. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. And we'll have properties for sale. Let me say this. All this madness, this insanity, this morbid thinking of buying people and selling their parts will not bring wealth. You're only satisfying the blood-thirsty appetite of demons. There are legitimate ways to make more money. Come and learn. God bless you.